Hello and welcome to this video. My name is David Thorne. In this SwiftUI video, I'm going to show you how to make this simple form. Now, it doesn't look like much, but it's important to understand how to create a form, which components to use, and how to create simple things like this. Now, there's a lot more things that you could add to this, but that's why it's just called a simple form, and it gives you the basic information about how to create something like this. So this video is actually the start of other videos, and I'm going to extend this one project as we go through the other videos. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight into creating a project. It's going to be an iOS application using the app, and then we're just going to call it simple form and using SwiftUI language Swift. We're not going to put any storage on it. Next, and we'll just save it to my standard folder here. Let's just run it. We'll change it to iPhone 15 as well. Before we actually create the form, we want to have some form of data, and we're going to have like a person. So we're going to have person's name, surname, and also you're just going to use their title, just 3 fields, which mean we're going to have a string, and then also a picker. Now you could do lots of different individual properties, but I don't like doing it that way. I much prefer using a struct because it's cleaner, and we only have to say @state once, and we can wrap everything with inside of this person. And to do that, we're going to say identifiable, hashable, and codable. You don't necessarily have to do all of these things, but it just makes a good practice for later things. So we're going to say name, surname, string, and then we're going to say title, which is going to be of type title, which we need to create the title. It's just going to be an enum. That's going to be of a string and identifiable, and also case iterable, and it's going to have Mr., Mrs., and other for all of the other cases that people want to call themselves. Don't really care. So now we just need to have the ID as well. So we'll say ID, and we'll say string, and here we're just going to return the raw value. Super easy. Okay, now that we've done that, why don't you want to do that? Oh, we need to do codable to this too. Happy days. So now we have our model to use. So let's just dump this down the bottom to make it cleaner up here. Now inside of our content view, we want to have some form of form, and we're going to use a navigation stack because at one point you're going to want to navigate to sub views. Now we could use form, right? Or we could use list. And for the sake of this, I'm going to use list because it gives you that list style type here, and it's a little bit more extended information that we can use. Now the form, yes, it's fine, but in all fairness, the list is better in my opinion, but do whatever you want. The first section we're going to have is going to be then a text field, and we are then going to say here and name once again, and we're going to bind it to our state property here. And this is going to be then a person, and we're going to say a person here, and we will give this person just an ID of 1. Yeah, it's going to have another ID of something else in the future, right? But just for this example, we're just going to put ID as 1, all right? And which means that we can say then in it here. And inside this, for then the text for the name, we're going to say $name. So we're going to access the projected view, which is the binding of it, and then we're going to access the name with inside of that as well. And we're going to come then down to surname to, and we'll just copy and paste this and say surname here. The next one, we are going to make another section, and this is then going to be called title. And here we want to say have a picker, and they are going to say title, and the selection is going to be person and then title. And the content view, we are going to have for each, so we can iterate through all of the title, all cases, and we can come here and then say title in, whoops, and this then say text title raw value, and we're going to say tag here so it knows which one we are talking about when we change it. Okay, and obviously we want to come back to our title, and we can add then the actual string, which is going to be the raw value instead. And we'll just say here other. That's a bit better. And then when we change this, you'll see now that it all goes a lot better. All right. And when we have the name and the surname, and inside of this, obviously we can change now the navigation title to say, let's just call it form here. And I don't want to have this type of view. I want to have then the inline view, so we can make it inline as well. So there we go. So now we want to have a button inside of this, and we just say here we're just going to say save. Whoops. And then the action for the time being, we're just going to say print saved. And when we tap this, when we come down, look at the bottom just to make sure we're working, and we see we are, let's just delete what we got, and we see we are working here. But we only want this button to be there if, let's just call this in person. Here it's going to be completed, and we'll return this if name empty, and we're going to change name, surname is empty, so not empty and not empty here, right? And if person completed, then we're going to display the button. All right, and as you can see right now, it's not displaying the button. When we put something in the name, we put something in there, we get completed, and when we save, we can say the person here, and so we can change it here, 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 and save it, and there we get the person down the bottom. All right. Now, the reason why I wanted to have a list, and this is quite an important thing, is that if you want to change the styling of this one form, and this is really another video to talk about it a bit more, I much prefer the list style, because then we can say like grouped here, for example, which then is then more the older way of showing the settings tabs and stuff, or we can have inset grouped, which is the way it looks right now. Otherwise, we can then have plain, and then it kind of strips out all of this nice formatting that we had before, and so on, which I much prefer, to be honest with you, the grouped, the subbed. I was the inset grouped one, which is the standard one itself. Now, if you have dynamic type, let's just turn the dynamic type on at one point. If we go really too big, you want all of this space down here, and you can create a way to change this dynamically, but I'm not going to go through that in this one video. But this is where, if the text is case, if you want to change the case of it, then you can go from a grouped, right, to then either the grouped or then the inset grouped, right, depending upon the size of the dynamic text. All right. So this is the way that you can change this too, and obviously then the button is a nice little feature. With that said, this is all I wanted to say with inside of this one form, because in this one button save function, you could then have a view model or something else like that, or persistent store, or whatever, an API call where you're going to send this one data to the server. And obviously you can update this one person by doing some form of network request inside of here using the data task publisher. And then once you receive that information, you set it up here, and then you'll know whether or not you'll know what the information is. And it can, in the beginning, it can be preset with an empty person in here, and then when you update the person here, so load the person data here, then you'll set the person up here, and you'll go from there. All right, and you possibly could have, yeah, this is it's another video. I don't really want to go into that. So with that said, I hope that you've learned a little bit of information about how to do this. And naturally, if you want then to have other properties with inside the person, then you put them in here, and then you can go nicely to the form instead, or the list with the form instead, and then add the different fields to it to make it a little bit better. I don't like when people do like person, and then they basically come here and say then the name, the surname, the title, the date of birth in here. It's just messy, all right? It's just absolutely messy. And just pack it all in one struct. This is of no relevance. We shouldn't do this, all right? But it was just for demonstration purposes only. With that said, I hope that you've got something out of this one video. I wanted to make another video, but then I needed this form to create the other video. So I thought, what better than just to create the form in this one video, and I'll use this simple form project for the other video that I'm going to make in the future, because at the moment, yeah, I'm just going to leave it as a surprise because there's a few other things that we can add to this. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've got something out of this one video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and do all of the other social media things out there that you can do. If you've got any questions, feedback, or concerns, don't forget to start a conversation in the comment section down below. Other than that, thanks very much for watching. My name is David Thorne. Ciao, ciao, and goodbye.